live from Floyd's garage.
Floyds Mayhem garage.
Yep. Now check it out. We did a lot of filming today.
Yes.
From like, I don't know, almost 12 hours filming. Well, maybe 10. Probably about 10.
Yeah, about 10 hours.
At 9:30.
Yeah. So.
I figured close the day off with a little sit down and drink some beer and talk about our favorite movie cars.
Yeah.
We both made a list of 10 each, and Eric's like a big movie-aholic.
This
so
is the worst list I've ever had to make.
Yeah, he could probably do 100.
I love a ton of movies, and I especially love like 70s and 80s movies, which I feel like the only thing that existed then was movie cars, or car movies.
Car movies or westerns.
Truck movies, or yeah, and I'm not the western person, so. But trucking was definitely big then too, and there's a bunch of
you don't see a lot
movies.
of semi-truck movies.
No, there's like hardly any nowadays. And in fact, I'm just thinking of more movies for my list that I should have added.
Yeah.
Now that we're talking about trucks, but I got a few on there. But yeah, so this is for me. This is kind of a hard list to make because I love so many movies.
Had a limit.
But I got more so instead of like favorites, I did more I think influential movies for me.
Right. Yeah, the cars that.
Because there's a few movies that really. And they're one of the ones, if they come on TV, I have to sit down and watch them. Or, I won't skip over it. I can watch it every single time.
Yeah, exactly.
And some of those are not the same as other people's lists.
Well, we'll see if we have any of the same. We didn't share the list yet.
No.
I tried to stay away from Chargers because I knew if I wrote any Chargers, you'd probably already have that on this list.
I don't know what you're talking about. I could have made a list of probably 20 cars of just Chargers and movies. But I did try to mix it up a little bit because there were some other influential ones for me. But yeah, I definitely have a couple Chargers on there.
Yeah, cool. Well,
about half. So, you want me to start off with my Charger?
Yeah, let's start with your Charger.
So, of course, one of my favorite movies, Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. 1969 Charger, painted Y3 Curious Yellow with a black racing stripe down the side.
And that's exactly what your dad's car is going to be.
That's what we're building out of my dad's car, yes sir.
So that's going to be cool. Excited to see once that starts taking shape a little bit more.
Yeah, and because we got the engine bay painted that color already. But yeah, the rest of the car needs to be painted, and that thing's going to be awesome when it's done. Because from the best I can tell, a ton of General Lees are built, but you hardly ever see a Dirty Mary Crazy Larry car.
Right. I've never seen any, even on the internet. I've never seen any.
I've searched for them on the internet, and I've come up with like 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah.
So they are out there, but they're not very common.
Yeah. And it's not that crazy of a paint job. It should be easy to replicate, right?
Oh yeah, it should be real easy.
Yeah.
So, we've discussed either painting the stripe on the side or having a vinyl sticker made and applying it that way.
Might be easier that way.
Probably. So it would probably be a little bit better look too, and that way we don't have to, because he wants to do a single stage paint, which I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I like the single stages on these old cars. So you've got to let it cure before you can tape it, but once you let it cure, if you're going to paint back over that, you have to sand it. So you have to sand right up against that tape edge, and so the risk of it peeling off is high.
I think
So a sticker, I think a vinyl sticker is kind of what we've decided to do with that car.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
It'll be better and it'll actually last longer.
Yeah. All right. So you'll never guess my first car.
Probably not.
No, you won't.
You're all over the place.
Yeah, true. But 77 Trans Am.
Excellent.
I think everyone that knows me probably knows that. I mean, that's.
I didn't forget. It's number 10 on my list.
Oh, you got it on there?
I got it on there because you can't
go. You hate it?
Exactly. You can't go wrong with Smoking the Bandit.
It has some of the best clips ever. He's just sliding around sideways and dirt roads, and it just the entire movie is just like police chase, right? It's like
that is exactly it. It's as I was talking, some of my favorite movies as well are truck movies, and that mixes a truck movie in it with too. That's a car movie. It's a truck movie. It's a comedy. It's an action movie. It's like that. Probably should have been higher up on my list.
Yeah.
But
people always say the Bullet's the longest police chase, but I think that Bandit probably is.
Actually, I think if we're going to talk longest car chase, that's a long one too. Well, because you actually might be right, because technically that's the whole movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there are scenes where they're not, actually being physically chased.
Yeah, but they're still getting chased technically.
I still think there's a movie that's probably longer than that.
What's that? And
it's not on my list, but it's in one of my what I'm calling honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Gone in 60 Seconds. And not the remake, the original. Because the original, I think the car chase is almost an hour long.
Yeah.
And it's an actual car chase the entire time.
Nice. I still need to see that. I haven't seen the first one. So. I'll check it out. It's on my list.
You
I'm
okay?
not, you know,
I know.
don't
Not
watch
everybody's
movies.
the car or movie enthusiast that I am.
I mean, I like them, sure, but I don't always. It's hard to even find movies half the time these days. You know.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
I don't even know if I have a DVD player. Honestly, I got
Well,
Netflix, and that's. I have an Xbox, so I guess I could run DVDs on there. So what's
Yeah.
your number 2?
Number 2, Dom's Charger from Fast and Furious.
So yeah, I was gonna say that because that's probably my favorite Charger.
First,
but I knew you were
and
gonna
of
say
course the first one. The other ones, they're good. It was the character that went along with the rest of the movies. It became a character in the movie. But yeah, the first one, and I just partially because of I think our age has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the most influential movies when I was younger.
Right.
And because we were the same age. So 2001 is when that came out. We were 8 years old.
Probably. Yeah. Makes sense.
But I remember seeing that, and that was just you look back on it, and the wheelie scene and the crashing into the truck, and just a whole bunch of those scenes. They're so cheesy.
Yeah.
And you look back on it, it's a minute and a half long quarter mile that they run.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was a kid watching that the first time, it didn't seem like it was that long. It was the coolest, one of the coolest things I'd ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of those movies that came out at that time were definitely super influential on the car scene. That's why we kind of stuck to cars.
Yeah.
We loved cars before then, and even after then, it just never stopped.
Yeah. So that one's definitely up there.
All right, this might be on your list. It's the '68 Mustang from Bullet.
Close.
Yeah, I bet you have a '68 something else on there.
I got 60. Yeah. We'll get to that.
Okay, yeah. So that Bullet, that's my favorite body style Mustang.
Well, no, actually, I can elaborate on that because there's some of these on here that the whole movie can be influential, but it's hard to pick a specific car out of the movie.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, I'm sure Fast and Furious that's why.
Right.
But there's only the one Charger.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't go wrong with that movie either.
Yeah.
That has made me love '68 Mustangs.
Yeah. Well, that's really like you get two cars that are like from the pinnacle of the '60s muscle car era, and throw it into a movie where they're chasing each other and basically just thrashing the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
And funny enough, you're probably the same way as us. And most people I talk to are this way. I don't know that I've actually ever seen that whole movie.
I watched it recently, actually. It was probably over the last 6 months.
Did you?
I sat down.
I think I sat down to watch the whole thing once and I was bored.
Yeah.
And I just skipped to the end.
It's it kind of reminds me of like a Tarantino film almost.
No, okay, I can see that.
Yeah. It's kind of drawn out and like a lot of just like
Yeah, I remember
silence and
it
like
was
weird dialogue and stuff.
not as exciting as I was expecting.
Yeah.
So
It's like a
I,
Tarantino film minus all like the blood and gore and craziness that's going on at the end.
so it's not one of the best influential movies you can get there.
Yeah. Number 3, what do you got?
Let's take a look. Oh, and of course, because we're talking influential here. Generally, Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, and I guess that's movie
It's movie and
car
TV.
but
And it's movie because of how successful the TV was.
it has to be one of the most famous movie cars. Or
Yeah,
TV
and we did
cars in
discuss
general.
that, including both TV shows in this as well.
Yeah, well, and the main movie, but
Yeah. I have another one on my list that's not
okay. Well, I don't care.
strictly TV show.
I don't know.
But, yeah, you can't, but generally, I've talked about this quite a bit recently, actually. It was brought to my attention. There's so many recreations of the General Lee out there. But, depending on what part of the country you live in,
Right.
Here in Colorado,
Maybe like 5 or something.
I've seen
maybe.
2 of them.
Yeah, I've seen maybe 1. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And you go to, other parts of the country, and I'm sure you'll see more. But, realistically, it's not that common a car.
Right.
And it, for being such a influential car, it's
And you don't see those things just driving around.
You just don't see them driving around,
Yeah.
exactly. And such a visually impacting car is what I was going to say with that.
Right.
You can't mistake that one.
Yeah. Probably gonna see less and less of those. I'm sure. But,
Probably.
So
Number
number 3
3.
for me. This is not gonna be on your list, I bet. But the Transporter movie.
I figured.
Jason Statham, the A8 Audi, and the
Okay.
W12 motor.
So that
12-cylinder.
was the Transporter 2, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that when I saw it, I think I was probably at the same time as Fast and Furious came out. That early 2000s, probably 8,
I
9
think
years
it's
old.
probably the same area.
And yeah,
there,
that 12-cylinder, I love big cars too.
yeah.
So yeah, it's just a badass.
You know what's funny about that? I don't think I saw that movie when it first came out.
Really?
I think it was several years later. And so, I do remember thinking it was a really cool movie then, and like a neat car, but I think at that point, because I'd seen it later, I'd already been way influenced by Fast and Furious, and then I started looking into other movies, and of course, Mopars seem to be very common in a lot of old movies. Yeah,
that one definitely kind of pushed me towards the European stuff a little bit.
I can see that. Yeah. And it was definitely, it was a good movie. It was very well done as far as movie cars are, because there's some horrible movie cars out there.
Right. Yeah. I think on the third one they get a little crazy when they like flip the car over and there's like a bomb on the bottom of it and they have to knock it off with like the that's a little. Is that the third one?
That's the second one.
Is it the second one?
It was still the second one.
The first one they had the
BMW,
but then you get to Audi at the end of it.
Yes. Yeah. Audi or no, we had a Mercedes at the end of that one.
I don't think so.
Or no, he had a Mercedes partway through it, and then I think the very end of the movie had an Audi. I don't know.
Either way.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, all these European cars, overseas cars, whatever. And interesting stuff. 4. Oh, TV show. Because this was another big influence. Yeah. Growing up, I don't even remember what year this came out, but Burn Notice.
Yeah.
Charger.
So like mid 2000s, early 2000s, right?
I think same time period. Yeah. I remember coming home from school and excited because I think it came out on Thursdays, I think. Yeah. Anyway, whatever day it was, and excited to make some food and sit down and watch Burn Notice. Yeah. And I remember I had watched the first episode, which they didn't introduce the Charger. It wasn't until the third episode that they introduced the Charger. And I remember thinking, this looks like a cool show, so I wanted to start watching it. Yeah. And and then by the third one they introduced it, and my mind was blown because I kept calling it a Charger. And at that point in time, the only thing I really knew of was, Fast and Furious and General Lee and a couple other, second gen Chargers. And that's what really opened up my mind or my eyes to
other cool cars,
other Chargers, more specifically, made me realize, that's not a Charger. Right. But 8 or 9 year old me, thinking that's not a Charger. Yeah. But and so ever since then I've had it's because of that show I have such a soft spot for the third gen Chargers. Yeah. And that's what your first Charger was. And that is what ended up being my first Charger. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So 4 for me, right? Yep.
Yeah, 4.
So it's a 32 Roadster from American Graffiti.
Yeah, you can't go bad.
Yeah, it's just a classic hot rod. That's something I want to build someday. It probably won't be yellow, but still, it's badass. You can't beat a 32 Ford at all.
And I think that's paved the road for a lot of people because that's become probably the most popular hot rod ever. And
there's so many recreations. There's companies that build entire bodies, fiberglass, metal, anything. However you want it, you can build another one of those. I don't know if I'm going to do 32. I'm thinking 36, but just to be a little bit different.
Something in that era.
Yeah, definitely a 30s hot rod is, coming in the future.
I would love to do something in that era as well. Yeah. And do kind of a mix between kind of a hot rod and rat rod. Yeah. Because I think somewhere kind of in between, there's some good combination you can have out there.
Yeah, I think so. So I think we're at 5. What do you got?
That's a good movie. I think that's another one of those movies where there's a lot of other cars in there that can be.
I know.
Yeah. Let's see. Where are we? Oh yeah, 5. And this is another one of my childhood favorites, which is probably not on hardly anybody's list. Yeah. Convoy.
Yeah.
The Mack truck. Yeah. Yep. So his Mack RS 700L.
Yeah. You're just the nerdiest person I've ever met about semi-trucks. Like, I don't know anyone else that cares that much about 70s, 60s, 80s, all those. I mean, they're cool. I love them. I love all the pinstripes and stuff on like the 80s and like all the body styles like in the 60s and how they kind of slowly got bigger and bigger. They're cool, but yeah, I don't know about.
You know what? And it might be because my dad was a truck driver. Yeah. So probably. He was probably constantly talking about trucks, and so then he was watching truck movies, and then I'm sure that it progressed from there. Yeah. But yeah, that's I have Legos, drawings, cartoons. Yeah. Connects, anything.
Ever since I've known you, and I've known you for what, not 20 years, like what, 18 years or so?
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
about 18 years. Yeah. So 5 for me.
Number 5.
So 5 for me is, you might have this one, you might not. 70 GTO, Dazed and Confused.
I don't, but that is a good one.
That's probably one of my favorite. Yeah, that's a car I need to buy.
That movie, the same thing, and it's funny because a lot of my other inspirations, the Bullet Mustang, I want a 68 fastback Mustang. I want a 70 Pontiac GTO.
Yeah, or a Le Mans. I'll take a Le Mans and I'll make it a Judge.
Exactly, yeah. But the same thing, I'll take a 68 Mustang, make it look like a GT.
Right.
I'll take a Le Mans and make it look like a GTO.
Yeah,
but just those, and that car, for whatever reason, it's the same thing. It's just the visual impact of it, I think. I love that, what is it, the urethane they're made out of, I think? The urethane front bumper?
Yeah.
The headlights are like molded into the front end, and it's got a very almost modern look, but then it's...
Well, if you think about it, they didn't really do that to most cars until the 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't have those whole, built-in, like, I guess in the 90s, more plastic or fiberglass sometimes, but yeah.
Fiberglass was, popular. Yeah, that was, I think, I would... Curious on the history of that, but they had to have been one of the first ones to
have like an entire painted front end. Everything else was running chrome.
Yeah.
So, until mid 70s, even past them, even 80s stuff had chrome bumpers usually.
A lot of them, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, 6 for you.
Great one. Oh yeah, Bullet.
Okay, 68 Charger.
68 Charger. And yeah, that's one of those movies of you can't watch that without appreciating both cars.
Yeah. For sure.
And, of course, Steve McQueen didn't drive the Charger, but the bad guys did.
Yeah.
But it had, I think, just as equally big of an impact as the Mustang did.
Yeah.
Because also then being the bad guy's car and black, and that set forth, I think, pretty much everything else movie-wise after that for bad guys.
Yeah.
And driving cars.
Yeah, exactly. Something sinister that looks just badass.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's cool. And I think that was probably one of the earliest, that was the earliest movie with the 68 Charger, that second gen Charger.
So it was in 1968.
And so, I think that kind of influenced, everyone else using Chargers. All right, this is another GTO. Can you guess the movie?
Triple X.
That's the one. 67. So I definitely want one of these too.
That's a good one.
Yeah. But I don't like a lot of colors. Like if you know me, I like blacks, grays, and that's about it.
Boring.
Yeah. But this one's purple, so I think that I threw a color in there. So
that's good. It had the chameleon like pearl paint on it.
Yeah.
So because they call it blue, and there at some point I don't think I ever saw it blue in the movie.
Yeah, it always seemed purple to me.
But,
purple, blackish.
So that might be one of those too. I'd be curious what that actual color looked like in person.
Right.
Because the Dirty Mary Crazy Larry Charger, there's so many different. The original footage was never released, so there was only copies of copies out there at one point in time.
Yeah.
So it looked like a canary yellow on VHS, but then there was pictures taken of it, and depending on what the lighting was, it looked like it was
green.
Sublime green, or it looked bright yellow. And so I wonder if that almost did the same thing on the camera.
Right.
They just never could pick up the right color because they call it blue in the movie.
Yeah.
But it doesn't ever look blue in any of those scenes.
Yeah, but I like the purple. Like the way it came out in the film, it looks great.
Yes, it was great.
Yeah.
Another one of those classics.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're 7, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
What do you got?
Another vintage, and it was actually remade, but we're sticking with vintage. 1970. Actually, it's 1971 when the movie came out. But 1970 Challenger Vanishing Point.
There you go. Yeah. Nice clean car.
Yep.
You can't really beat a white Challenger.
And it's actually, that car is the inspiration for a lot of my stuff I've painted. Which my truck, all the white on my swap line is W1 Alpine White.
Oh really? The same color as that? Yeah.
Same color as the Vanishing Point Challenger.
That's
Vanishing Point Challenger.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. I did not know that. All right. This is one that will not be on your list. It is the white Countach from The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, that whole scene is... Actually, he drove that for several times. But
but that scene where he's trying to get into it, ridiculous. And that car is just like the most 80s thing I've ever seen in my life. Just white on white, just like... Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be one of the just funniest scenes ever, too.
Yeah.
And I can't... Yeah, he's just wasted on drugs. Can't believe I made it. And the next morning, the thing's just trash.
Yeah, he's like, I can't believe I made it home.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And which is funny because that's not even really a movie car or a car movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is a very recognizable, crazy, total 80s car in a movie.
Well, like the Countach, there's a bunch of movies with the Countach, like Cannonball Run, the black one in there. That's the first time I saw it. Was like.
But isn't that what was done in Dumb and Dumber too?
Yeah, I think they did have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber, and then also there's I think Rumble in the Bronx with Jackie Chan. he rips the doors off. It's probably like a kit car or something.
Okay.
He gets one and he's driving backwards and the doors are up and then he slides underneath the semi and the doors get ripped off of it.
Huh.
He's just like doing like a J turn under it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any movie with Countach.
Because it's one of the craziest cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, very squared but style and yeah. And believe it or not, this one's not a Mopar.
Wow.
I know, crazy. Ford Falcon XB GT.
Wonder what movie that is.
Mad Max.
Yeah.
Is a Black Interceptor.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest cars. The funniest thing is just the switch for the blower.
Dude, I know, and that's been discussed by so many people of trying to find or build something or find a way to make that happen. Of how cool that would be to be able to flip a switch and have supercharger power.
Yeah, but I mean, it just doesn't really quite work with the internals of motor. And,
nope. There's no way. I think the closest one is Roadkill. They had their boost caboose. Did you ever?
No,
oh my God, really?
Yeah, what is that?
They put a supercharger on a V8 on a trailer and piped all the tubing up to the motor of the Chevy Monza that they're
where they had like a trailer and like okay.
The boost caboose, And then they had because the motor had to be running at basically 5,000 RPM the whole time. They had a valve just open that relieved the PSI, but then they could close the valve. And they were talking about that being the closest that they could, that magical Mad Max, boost on command type situation.
Well, I mean, people got nitrous, so that's what they get.
Yeah, pretty much.
As good as they get. All right, another one that you're not gonna have. It's a German car, Porsche 911 from Bad Boys. Remember that car?
I do.
Will Smith's?
Yeah.
No. That's just one of the best spy styles ever.
I don't remember at all, even like second glancing that car in that movie.
No.
Nope, I just remember it being in there.
Yeah. If you're into European cars, it's probably like you're like, okay, that's what I need.
I remember the movie being funny.
Oh yeah, it's a great movie.
And if you asked me if that was in there, I probably would have not remembered.
Some people will get it. Some people won't.
But yeah, that's you've taught me more than anything. A lot of these European cars.
Yeah. And
their styling and uniqueness and the things that they did.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, but it's just not the same.
Yeah. Well.
But
so number 9 for you, right?
Number 9, and this is one of those movies too. There's 2 cars in the movie, but I focused on they're both Mopars actually.
Yeah.
But focus on not the Charger. So Christine.
Okay, there you go.
Plymouth Fury.
So far away from Dodge, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. But of course, that movie had a '68 Charger in it as well.
Yeah.
Which every time I watch the movie, I do get especially where I'm at now with my obsession with Chargers.
Yeah.
I do just get a little bit more excited when I see the Charger in there.
Yeah, for sure.
But then the Fury I'm not necessarily as excited to see, but the Fury is what made that movie.
Yeah.
And that was such a. It's one of those movies, it'd be cool to see something like recreated with that, but then I don't know if they could do it right.
Yeah, with like modern stuff.
You'd have to, I think, use vintage stuff.
Yeah.
And then it would just almost be pointless, maybe.
Yeah.
Or you might piss some people off ruining some 58 Furies.
Yeah.
And Belvederes.
Yeah, sure.
But
I don't know, I think people are scared to buy those things, honestly. I see a lot of them sitting down. I don't think I'm going to buy one. Are you going to buy one if you see one that's just out in the field?
I would love to buy one that was out in the field.
I don't know. We'll see. Seems like bad juju.
It probably is.
Mine might be on your list. We'll see. It's a Peterbilt.
Ooh. I can think of like 3 or 4 movies with a Peterbilt in it.
Alright, well, Duel.
Wow, really? Yeah. Holy shit, that's not on my list, but that is on
really?
my list of mentions.
Okay, sweet. I thought it'd be on one of your lists for sure.
Yeah, so it's hilarious because my sister absolutely fucking hates that movie.
Why?
With a passion. I don't know, because
she just can't. It's the attention span maybe for it. Or?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I was watching this thing a while back, which I thought was hilarious because one of her top favorite movies of all time is Jaws. And so there was an interview.
The same director, right?
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
So Duel was one of, if not the first film of Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
At least I think the first big film. I think he did a bunch of little ones. And that one, Duel was originally a I think a straight to DVD or a TV release. I think it was.
Yeah.
But it was so popular, they ended up building another truck since they wrecked it, and filmed some more scenes to make the movie longer and actually re-released it
Oh, really?
To, I don't know if they did theaters or like re-released it just on as like an actual movie.
Right.
I don't remember the specifics of it, but in an interview of him talking about it, he was talking about Jaws, actually comparing it to Duel.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how they're almost the same movie.
Yeah.
And he does.
You just have this predator that's always like a front, basically.
And he talks about how you never see the driver in the in Duel, and it's very kind of like mysterious, and all the issues they had with the shark in Jaws. And yeah, but chasing them, and he himself considers Jaws a sequel to Duel, which is kind of funny. And so I give my sister crap about that all the time.
Yeah. I just feel like, that's weird.
But and then
I'd rather watch Duel than Jaws. I don't really care for Jaws that much.
Both great movies. Yeah. But the thing with Duel, with it being such a low production, that actually ended up making some of the best film quality that has ever been in movies.
Yeah.
It was such a low production, Steven Spielberg was in the back with a camera.
Yeah.
Filming Dennis Weaver.
Yeah.
And so, but it ended up giving a movie a very realistic feel because it was real.
Yeah.
And instead of having a camera mounted, he was literally in the back seat holding the camera.
Yeah.
And so,
That's pretty awesome.
then they were actually driving the car. It wasn't a car on a buggy or anything.
Yeah.
Dennis Weaver was actually driving the car with Steven Spielberg in the back filming.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
so, being such a cheap production movie, actually ended up making some of the best filmings out there.
Yeah.
So, very, very good, influential movie.
Yeah, for sure. All right, is it my turn or your turn? I don't remember.
I think
we're on 10, right?
Yeah, 10.
So your turn.
Smoking the Bandit.
Oh, yep, that's good.
So,
mine, I think you'll enjoy. It's a Blazer. Can you guess the movie?
Blazer.
75 Blazer.
Hold on. Nah, I don't know.
You don't know?
First thought was Jaws, but that was 73 because it was a full removable top.
Think of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's got to be Commando.
No.
I got Blazer in there too. What other movie do you have a Blazer?
Imagine you remember when we painted my Chevy one time?
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it was 73 as well, because it had a removable top.
Maybe then.
Yeah.
Could then go to 75 at that with the removable top.
I think it was 1 year only. I'm pretty sure.
We can double check that. But
We'll double check it. Anyways.
Yeah.
Last Action Hero.
Yep, that's the one.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
The whole movie in itself, even away from the car side of it, it's just such a goofy, ridiculous movie.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the whole timeline of it. And it's funny, I've just watched that probably a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really? It's been a couple years, but that kind of like the holiday theme.
Well, and I forgot how many other movie references were in that movie.
Yeah.
And of course, being that he's watching a movie, but he's in the movie, so the whole like double movie timeline thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they made fun of so many other movies in that.
Yeah.
In that movie, it was hilarious.
Well, yeah. Didn't they have him as an actor like on the screen too? Like, what movies did they? Then they were showing us another movie that was
there's like one scene he's trying to prove that they're in a movie.
Yeah.
And so they go to a movie rental place, and they're looking for the action movies, and they walk over and Terminator 2 is out there, but it's Sylvester Stallone's face on there instead of Arnold's. And he's no. But then there's a bunch of movies. There's one scene when they're first walking into the police station in the movie. The liquid metal Terminator what was his Patrick, whatever the actor's name was. Anyways, from Terminator 2, he was walking out of the police station.
Oh, really?
And then so was it Sharon Stone? I think the one with the white coat from was it Fatal Attraction? I think where she crosses her legs and you see her yoo-hoo. Anyways, that whole movie, she was walking out of the police station too. Because that whole movie, I don't even know that I've seen that full movie.
Yeah.
But it's they're interrogating her in the police station. Anyway, so that was funny too. In a matter of, and then I think somebody else was even in the police station but yeah, there's all kinds of stuff in just such a short period of time in that movie, and that's
I have to watch that again. That was a good movie for sure.
And even I've been trying because I think he's driving it's a Pontiac something or other, some early 70s or late 60s, early 70s massive Pontiac convertible car, red interior painted gold. Yeah. And I was watching that again the other day. I'm like, that's such a kind of odd combination, but it totally goes along with the movie, just how goofy and cartoonish it is.
Yeah.
So.
That was good. Notable mentions. I said
You have
the
one.
Toyota from Back in the Future.
It's a good one.
Yeah. It's just a clean, cool little truck.
That actually, when I was getting my license, I was really looking for one of those Toyotas.
Yeah.
And even then, which was, how many, 10 years ago at this point? 12 years ago?
Yeah.
They were expensive then.
That's probably one of those cars that haven't dropped like $1 in like the last 10 years, 20 years. That they've just always, always been desirable. People love them. The only issue is the rust. If you can find one that's rust free, you're gonna spend a lot of money, but they're just gonna run forever. The parts are cheap, easy to modify, great car.
Yeah, and they're becoming like a classic body style at this point too, especially if you go those 80s ones.
Yeah, super boxy. I love them.
Yeah, that's a good truck.
Yeah.
I have a.
All right, let's hear your whole list.
I have a list.
Yeah.
So we already mentioned this. Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah.
Another good one, which I don't know if you've even seen this. White Lightning.
Wait a minute. No, I'm thinking something else. Maybe with
Do you
Steve
remember?
McQueen.
Oh no, not Steve McQueen.
I think California Kid is what I was thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm even drawing a huge blank. Hold on. Smoking the Bandit.
Burt Reynolds.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds is in it.
Nice.
Without a beard.
Okay.
Very weird, or a mustache.
Yeah, mustache.
He's clean, shaved.
Yeah.
Looks very weird, but he drives around in a 4-door brown Ford like police car type thing, but it's topped up and about moonshine or moonshining, and like his sort of about moonshining, but like his brother gets killed or something, and he's like. There's like not undercover cops, but like dirty cops, or anyway, a whole kind of thing like that. And a ton of great stunt driving though, and it's a very classic as far as stunt driving goes.
Yeah, I'll check that out. One that I was thinking of, kind of similar to that brown Ford that you're talking about, is the Men in Black 1, Kay's car.
Yeah.
That blacked out. I don't know what that is.
It's the same thing. It's a Ford something or other. Yeah. Basically, he was driving the earlier version of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are becoming pretty cool cars.
I want one. I just don't know where to find a nice clean one. They're all just like brown or like ugly. It's like, why do I find that cool blacked out one that used to be a FBI car or something?
So ironically, I've got Duel on my list here.
There you
go. For the good mentions.
Nice.
Another one that goes with that, White Line Fever. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Another classic, and same thing. And I think that's what I've come to realize with a lot of the older movies I like is the stunts in them.
Yeah.
And of course that one is the cab over Ford F9000, I think it is, or whatever it is. C9000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's old cab over semi truck.
Yeah.
And yeah, at the end of it, they jump it through the building sign for that one company, whatever company it was, the glass house. But huge, jumping a freaking semi truck, and they actually jumped it. Yeah. It's such a cool scene. And then this is one of these movies. There's not really a specific car in there. There's a good one, and they end up wrecking it. And it's a '57 Chevy.
Yeah.
But then all the other movies, or all the other cars, are just hilarious and ridiculous in them. And some of them are just background cars, which were like main focus cars in other movies. But Kurt Russell used cars.
Yeah, that's good. That's definitely a good one. That's the one you say that's basically me.
Oh yeah, that reminds me so much of you. And I can see you being exactly Kurt Russell in that movie. But and the most recently, I don't know if you've seen this yet, Ford vs Ferrari.
No, I haven't seen it.
I just watched it a week ago.
Yeah.
Great movie.
You liked it?
It was awesome. They did a really good job.
Yeah. So what'd you like in there? The Ford GT?
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's about all they had in there.
Yeah.
He was driving a Cobra around quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then he had a couple other ones that I'm not even gonna guess what the names were in there earlier, like early '60s race cars that were similar shaped to the like MGs and stuff.
Right. Yeah, more like European bodies, but.
And so it was pretty interesting, and they seemed to be doing a good job. It seemed like they were driving some of the cars. I don't know if it was a lot of like really good CGI or if they actually
I've seen some
built some
behind
cars.
the scenes stuff, and it seemed like they were driving real cars, whatever they are. They might have been replicas, but they're still
Yeah,
driving stuff.
and they were really good replicas if they were.
Yeah, well, like they make Factory 5 makes awesome replicas of the Cobra, the Daytona, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. So yeah, they seem to do the film wise. They did a really good job as well.
Yeah.
So, and then one of those is absolutely goofy movies, but it's got a Charger in it. Drive Angry.
Which one's that? Is that
Nicolas Cage, your favorite actor?
Yeah. I just avoid Nicolas Cage movies.
Yeah, that's the whole. It's such a cheesy movie.
Yeah.
But he's driving what I do believe is a old General Lee car from one of the other General Lee movies or TV shows or something.
Really? How do you how do you know that?
Oh, it's a like a stripped down Charger. It's painted like a flat, like black / like flat blue.
Yeah.
That's got the Dukes of Hazzard wheels on it.
Oh, really?
So I'm like, it's got to be. I'm
yeah.
assuming it's some leftovers from the Dukes of Hazzard movie, maybe.
Yeah.
Or cause I know they made there's been a couple like spin-offs of even the movie with Johnny Knoxville in it.
Yeah. Well, a lot of there's companies that rent out cars for stuff, and they own all these Chargers and whatever, and they just rent them out to whoever needs to use.
Well, I'm curious because they wrecked a bunch of them in that movie.
Yeah.
So I don't think they rented those ones out, but yeah. So I don't know unless they just whoever designed those cars were inspired by the generally, but yeah, I don't know. Pretty interesting.
That's cool.
But and then another classic, another Kurt Russell movie, Death Proof.
Yep.
Remember that one?
Yep, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good truck.
And
that's
that
a
was
cool car.
two good cars actually, Chevy Nova.
Oh,
and then
that's right. Yeah.
Of course the '69 Charger.
Yeah.
And of course that movie, actually that should have been probably on my list. Because that movie is so cool because there's so many like Easter eggs in that movie, and references to other car movies.
Yeah.
And of course, they drive the Nova and the Charger, but that's what Kurt Russell drives. He then chases the girls in the Vanishing Point Challenger, or the Vanishing Point Challenger.
Right.
And so there's reference to Vanishing Point, but then on both his Nova and his Charger, he's got the Convoy rubber duck on the hood.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And so, of course, that's a reference to Convoy. But then, even further, you look at the license plate on this Charger. It's a black California license plate, but 938 DAN, which happens to be the license plate on the Dirty Mary Crazy Larry Charger.
Yep.
So, the Dirty Mary Crazy Larry Charger was a blue California plate, but same thing, just one of those little Easter eggs hinting at the other movies.
Yeah, and all Chargers.
And yeah, and then of course the girls in that movie, they talk about several other car movies. I think they even mentioned White Line Fever in that movie.
Yeah.
And cause they're talking about movie stunts and stuff like that. And
that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and so that's one of those. Quentin Tarantino's such a wild director with all of his movies, anyways.
Yeah, and he likes to intertwine everything.
And that's one of those where he definitely did that. But yeah, most of the time he intertwines with his own movies. That's where you definitely see he had some inspiration from a lot of the old movies.
Yeah.
So another interesting one I saw, Faster.
I don't know.
Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
Must be recent-ish.
It was recent-ish, like I think 12 years ago.
Oh, well, I don't know that one.
But yeah, he's a getaway driver, and they actually get away. Initially he drives a 66, 67 GTO. But where their meetup place, they were like double-crossed, whatever. Yeah. And he's shot in the back of the head. But I guess the bullet, went out of his cheek and missed everything, and he survived. Well, and of course he went to prison, but they explain that throughout the movie, and they open up with him though just pacing back and forth in prison, and he's being let out, and he storms, he starts walking, walks over to this like junkyard-looking place, pulls a tarp off of a '70 Chevelle. Actually, it's a mix of a couple different cars. It's got like 72 taillights. It's got a '70 front end. And so I don't remember what actual year it is, but early '70s Chevelle. Yeah. Black with the white stripes. It's got a gun underneath the seat and a name and a face. He drives to the address where that person is. He walks into the building, and shoots him. And so that's like kind of the whole beginning of the movie. Yeah. And so it turns out he was doing all this stuff in prison. He was finding out all the people who set him up and who was involved in all that. Yeah. And so now he's coming back and like revenging. Killing him. Real interesting movie, but yeah, he drives that Chevelle the whole time.
I should check it out.
Sounds good. Yeah, pretty good movie. And then last two here are just one of those sort of two become classics. And this one's it's not any specific movie in it, but it's a good truck movie. It's got some good cars in it. Yeah. Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah, it's a pretty ridiculous movie.
It's one of those. It's just a classic at this point. Yeah. And it is a ridiculous movie and wild, but you just can't go wrong with it. And then another more recent one, which actually spawned a couple sequels, Joyride.
I don't know if I've seen that one yet.
You haven't seen that one?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Taylor.
What is it?
What can I hit you with?
You're right.
You haven't seen Joyride?
Maybe. I don't know.
Paul Walker.
Yeah, I don't know.
The sequels you don't need to worry about, but you need to watch the first one at least.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll check it out.
So another one of those. It's a horror movie, I guess maybe, or thriller, action thriller maybe is what they would call it. But God, what's even the storyline of that movie? Basically, he's trying to meet up with this girl that he's known forever, and instead of flying out to meet up with her, he decides to drive out to go pick her up because she mentioned wanting to go on like a trip or something, or she wanted to like travel the country in a car, and so he has his plane ticket in front of him. Oh, I just bought a car. Pretty much lied to her, so he sold his plane tickets and went and got a car.
Nice.
But he got I think it was a '71 Plymouth Fury, or no, I'm sorry, Chrysler Newport.
Okay.
2-door, huge car, pretty cool car, but it was like pasty yellow. And cruises that along, but I think he stops and talks to his mom at some point on a payphone, and she informs him that his brother's in prison in Colorado, and it's basically on the way. So he stops and picks up his brother.
Yeah.
And at one of the gas stations they stop at, his brother installs a CB radio, and so then they start messing with the truckers on the CB radio. Yeah. And they finally piss one off.
So it's kind of like a duel setup kind of thing?
Kind of, yeah, but with talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the one place they I think they got stopped by a police officer or whatever. So anyway, something about his taillight being out. Yeah. And we should get the taillight fixed at some point, whatever. And they're talking trash on this truck driver, and being mean to him, whatever. And he mentions, you should probably get that fixed. Yeah, I know what fixed. Your taillight. And so then they start panicking and freak out and run off. And that's the whole rest of the movie. And basically this trucker starts terrorizing him. Yeah. And great movie.
I'll check it out.
It's definitely more action packed than Duel.
Yeah.
But now that you say that, I could see. It's very similar to Duel.
Yeah.
So just with more talking and more storyline, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that was the top 10 or top 20, I guess.
Top 20.
20-ish.
20-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are all great movies, and that's where and I even have more movies than that I could think of that are on here. But
yeah, maybe we'll do another one of either stunts, maybe another.
Well, that could be good.
Yeah, top 10 stunts, movie stunts.
So I think of one in like every one of these movies.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Cool.
Yeah, and some of those actually, even like I said, White Lightning, and maybe we'll have to look some of these up if you haven't seen them. Yeah. And vice versa.
For sure.
But that could be a good one.
Yeah. Cool. Well. I think that wraps us up.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Happy holidays. And we'll see you guys next time.
Take it easy.